Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. England have just defeated Serbia 1-0 in their first game of Euro 2024, and that was disappointing in my opinion. If I was an England fan, and I'm not, I would not be happy after watching those 90 minutes against Serbia. And look, obviously it's tournament football and style points don't matter. You need to get the win and you need to get out of the group. In England, I'm 100% confident are going to make it out of this group because they have by far and away the best team out of anybody in their group. And you could argue they have the best team on paper in this whole tournament. But these games, man, too many times under Gareth Southgate, I watch England play and they look uninspiring, they look disorganized, they look lost on the pitch, their shape is all over the place. It's just not good enough, man. Like, you're basically parking the bus and hoping not to concede against Serbia. Against Serbia, you should be pummeling this team. And again, Serbia is not a bad team, but man, they look like the better team for most of this game, and that should not be happening if you're England because you're one of the teams that coming into this tournament had the highest expectations. And the way that you played today, man, it was awful, man. I don't know what Gareth Southgate was thinking. Look, the lineup, I thought it looked good. Like, when you look at that lineup on paper, there's so much firepower there. I think the commentary on Fox, they said it. England have 4 players in their squad that scored 20-plus goals in their respective clubs, and you're struggling to score against Serbia. They had 1 shot on goal, I think, in the second half. It was embarrassing to watch. That second half was awful to watch. Honestly, it was really bad to watch. England were completely getting outrun in that midfield. It was just a disaster class by England today. It just wasn't good enough in my opinion. If England actually want to go on and win this tournament for the first time in their history, they got to do better than that, and that manager has to do better than that. 2 players today, in my opinion, can hold their head up high for England coming off that pitch, and it was Bukayo Saka and Jude Bellingham. And funny enough, both of those guys, who in my opinion, like I said, were the best 2 on the pitch, both of them got subbed off. But you left Harry Kane and Phil Foden on the pitch. Harry Kane was dreadful today, man. He had that chance in the second half where it hit the post where the Serbia goalkeeper made a fantastic save. But other than that, he ghosted. He had 1 touch in the first 90 minutes. He's dropping deep. He looked lost, bro. He looked lost. I like throw in Ivan Toney or fucking Ollie Watkins in there. He looked lost, man. He looked really, really bad. Harry Kane, I was not impressed by his performance today at all. And Phil Foden, we got to start talking about this guy for England. Everybody always brings up how Vini doesn't show for Brazil. Phil Foden, every time I watch England play, it looks like he's not even there. He's non-existent on the pitch. I would have much rather see fucking, I don't know, Anthony Gordon or even Jadon Sancho on the left because Phil Foden is just not suited to play that role. He looks so lost today, man. He couldn't receive the ball. He was making dumb decisions. I mean, he looked like we just watched Phil Foden be arguably the best player in the Prem. And today, he looked like he never played football before. And this England team together looked like they had never played football before. The experiment of Trent in the midfield did not work. I don't think Trent should be the scapegoat for this game. Because again, you're playing him in a position where he's not used to playing. He's not a midfielder. Football fans have this idea sometimes that because you're a good passer, like Trent is, that you should just play midfield. Oh, why is he playing right back? Use him out of midfield. There's a certain temperament you have to play as a midfielder, especially as a pivot. And we saw Trent doesn't have that temperament. He doesn't have I don't know what it's called, but you guys know what I mean. He doesn't have that style suited to play as an interior player. Because he can't receive with his back to goal. And we saw it today. He had a couple bad touches in that first half. Again, I don't think Trent was the biggest prime for England today, not even close. But do I want to see him in that role again? No, and I think if England want to win this tournament, they got to forget about Trent playing in midfield. It looks like you're trying to shoehorn too many players into this team instead of finding the best possible lineup to maximize your players. And today, like, these players feel like it just seems like Southgate isn't maximizing what he has at his disposal. And that's not good because again, when you're gonna come up like against Serbia, it can work. Against Denmark, it can work. Against teams like this that you're obviously better than, that you have more quality than, it's gonna work because individual quality, especially in international football, is always gonna help you out a lot. It's gonna be one of the most important, not the most important factors when it comes to competitions like the Euros and the World Cup. But when you're coming up against teams like Germany with Julian Nagelsmann, who have a lot of quality, like France with Didier Deschamps, who also have a lot of quality, that can look England eye to eye in terms of squad quality, it's not going to work. Julian Nagelsmann would coach circles around this Gareth Southgate. If they played on knockout rounds, it would be a rout, man. It wouldn't even be close. And again, for England, that's not good enough because you're coming into this tournament with so many expectations, and you're struggling against Serbia. It's just not good enough, man. And again, I thought Jude Bellingham today was fantastic. Obviously scored like well. I thought Jude played really, really well. And I thought Saka was fantastic as well. But Phil Foden and Harry Kane, the fact that they stayed on the pitch and those 2 guys got taken off, to me, I understand they're trying to keep Trent fresh. Bellingham fresh because obviously you're going to need him for the long run in this tournament if you want to win it. But it just wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough for me. Conor Gallagher comes on to obviously help park the bus. Kobe Mainoo comes on. I don't know, man. I would like to see a lot more variance in that lineup, especially in that left hand side, because it just wasn't working. That left half space was just not working at all. Like it was, like I said, England looked confused on the pitch, and this team has so much firepower. You should be expecting more out of this England team. And like I said it already, but I'm gonna say it one more time. When you come up against better teams with better coaching, it's gonna come back to bite you in the ass. Because Serbia today, they should take this as like Serbia should be disappointed with themselves today. They should be disappointed with themselves because they could have won this game easily. Serbia could have easily won this game today. And again, it's the first game of the Euros. Maybe the players are rusty, but the reason why I would be concerned if I was an England fan is because we've seen this history with Gareth Southgate, where the football is really uninspiring, and then when you come up against good teams, you know, like we saw against France in the World Cup in 2022 when you lost that game. Like we saw against Italy in the final of the Euro in 2021. You know, when you come up against these better teams, this football is not going to work because you're going to get found out. And it's happened multiple times already under Southgate. And England have too good of a generation to fucking waste it like this. You cannot waste a generation like this. That team on paper was... I mean, did you guys see that fucking lineup? It was insane. Again, it doesn't help that your whole back line is right-footed. You know, you would ideally want to have a left-footed player in there to obviously have something different. But still, I think the England back line looked shaky, didn't really look good. But I think, again, Serbia has a lot of threats going forward, especially Vlahovic and Mitrovic, who are really, really good players. But yeah, for me, man, I would be disappointed if I was an England fan. I didn't like that performance at all. It kind of turned me off. And again, Trent's probably not going to play in the midfield again. I don't think Foden should be playing on the left-hand side anymore. I think Gareth Southgate has to fix that. I would love to see maybe a double pivot pairing of Rice and also maybe Kobe Mainoo or Conor Gallagher. Like we saw later on in that game to provide a little bit more balance. But I think Trent was just misused in that position. I would much rather see Trent at right back. And, you know, you take out Kyle Walker and he can maybe make some more noise down that right-hand side, you know, like near the touchline. Because Trent, like I said, he doesn't have the temperament to play centrally. Just not his type of, he's not that type of player. I'm not saying Trent is a bad player. I think he's one of the most technically gifted players that I've ever seen in my life. The fucking dude's amazing. There's a reason why he's been starting at Liverpool, been one of the best teams in the world for the past 5 years, because he's that good. But again, you try to put him into that team, play him centrally, because everybody's saying, oh, play Trent centrally. Doesn't have that. He doesn't have those qualities to play as a midfielder, and we saw it today. But again, I think Harry Kane was awful today, man. I think Harry Kane was awful. These two guys, Harry Kane and Phil Foden, you know, they never really get scapegoated for England. I don't know why that is, because, you know, anytime Bukayo Saka has a bad game, the England fans are out there. You know, they're posting the fucking memes on Twitter. They're clowning him all the time. When Bellingham has a bad game. You know, when all these different players, I think we notice a pattern here, right? But whenever Foden and Kane do something wrong, no one ever mentions it. They give him all this leeway, which to me is weird. Because again, I think Phil Foden is one of the best players in the world, and we saw it with Man City. But he's been awful. He was awful today. It was really, really bad. It was like he made so many bad decisions in the final third. He looked lost, man. Phil Foden is such a good player, but he looked lost today. So I don't know. Maybe it's the Pep Guardiola tax that's helping Phil Foden. I don't think it is, because I think Phil Foden, like I said, I think he's a really, really good player. I think Harry Kane is one of the best strikers in the world. But one touch in the first 45 minutes, you can't get service to your target man. It just wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough in my opinion. England should be, they should be worried, man, because Denmark have a good team. And for me, like I said, if I was an England fan, I would be concerned right now, because again, not because of the group stages. You're gonna get out of the group. You're gonna finish first in your group. That's gonna happen. But once you get to the knockout rounds, it's gonna start to get a little bit more difficult to beat these teams and beat these better managers. And for me, after I saw what Spain did yesterday, which again, Spain didn't have a perfect game, but they scored 3 goals. What I saw from Germany, we're yet to see France obviously play in this tournament, but from what I'm seeing from the other teams that are on par with England to obviously win this tournament, England don't look like they're going to be a team that's going to take home their first Euro in their history. But again, that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think, man. Who in your opinion were your standout performers today? I thought Conor Gallagher, when he came on, he was decent, was just fighting for the ball. But again, overall, it just was a bad performance from England. Just the shape was all over the place. There was no creativity. There was no link-up play. There was just nothing there. And for me, again, I wasn't impressed by it at all. But again, that's just my opinion. I'd love to know what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I love every single one of you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.